Warning: this podcast contains spoilers for upcoming projects. Listen with caution. I was about like 11:15, and I'm like, I'm the world's hungriest boy, so I need to go get lunch. And I was like, oh, I have plenty of time. It's like there's like 45 minutes, and I forgot that the place that I go to get a very good Nashville hot chicken sandwich used to be 5 minutes away from my old place, and it is now 15 minutes away from this place. So I was like, so it would have been like a 5 or 15-minute trip out there turned into like 45. And I was like, oh, I gotta get back here. And I'm like, I have to scarf this entire chicken sandwich as quickly as possible so that I'm not eating while we're on the recording.
Oh my God. I got halfway through my lunch and then realized what time it was and was like, okay, the other half of lunch is for later.
I bought a blueberry sourdough loaf at Costco yesterday, and it is one of the most incredible things I've ever had in my life because I just toast a slice and then I put cream cheese on it, and I like simultaneously feel very, very fancy and like really poor at the same time, but like that's good when it comes to a lot of food. So I don't know.
You want it to be like just fancy enough to tickle the brainstem, but not so fancy that you feel like a little dilettante, a little like you don't want to be a princeling, lad. You know?
Yes, exactly.
That's fancy stuff. That's better, yeah. European mindset,
Welcome, audience, and back to Behind the Locked Doors, a sometimes podcast where I don't know. My brain's scattered.
We've been busy boys, okay? We've had stuff going on.
Yeah. We do lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I am Scott Paladin. I am editing a horny werewolf audio drama podcast called It Takes a Wolf.
My name is Sam Stark. I am doing lots of sound editing things and getting back into writing episodes for a spinoff of Unspeakable Distance called As in West.
Yay. I'm Jack, and I'm also working on As in West.
I'm Mike, aka Interiority, and I'm working on a horny Regency drama called The Two Majors at the moment. I'm not sure. That might not stick.
That's good. No, that's
good. You know, I was thinking kind of like Double Major might be a bit too cute.
Two Majors is good.
Two Majors is really solid.
Yeah.
So Double Major did make me go...
Well,
there's something to be said for that.
It implies a collegiate thing that it didn't sound like you already had.
It that's wildly off track.
Yeah. Okay. So progress report. I don't know when it was that we last released an episode, so
could not tell you.
I have been making some progress on the editing for episode 2. I still have to do some re-recording. I just need time to like hours to put that together. But the last couple of weekends have been shot for me. So, but we'll talk about that stuff later. So how about Sam?
That's
a big sigh. That was a big sigh.
I'm thinking. I had I did a whole bunch of audiobook stuff. I did my first HarperCollins. I just picked up like 3 new trans like own voices reads, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Cool.
Happy Pride.
Yeah, happy Pride. I am looking at possibly doing a editing job for a publisher, maybe. And I was really excited because I had like some downtime because I also had a very minor surgery. And I was able to sit down and like sort of familiarize myself with As in West stuff again. And there was TAFCON, which we'll talk about. So,
Jack?
I went to TAFCON. Basically, the past like month of my life, all I have been doing is preparing for events that I was tabling in June. I've now done all those events. So the last week I've done nothing but lay around. I went to one of my jobs, but the other job I took off. So I've literally just been catching up on sleep and trying to like become a human person again. So that's all I have accomplished, but I am proud of myself for that.
Just imagining the scene from T2 where the all of the mercury slowly coalesces back into the T1000. That's what I'm imagining.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's me this week.
All right, how about you, Mike?
I've spent the past few weeks preparing for TAFCON, namely the disappointment of not being at TAFCON. The heartbreak.
I missed you so bad.
Making sure that I was hydrated enough so, like, when the tears inevitably came, they wouldn't kill me. and then recovering from the heartbreak of TAFCON.
Right.
Since our last update several months ago or whatever it was, I have made progress. Like I've written at least one episode since then, probably two. But yeah, last 2
Nice.
weeks, a lot of fatigue, not feeling so good. So not done too much recently, but hopefully we'll get back on it when it stops being 100 degrees in the UK, which is not a country designed to be 100 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
No.
until very recently was not a country that got to 100 degrees. And now we have a week of near it, and it's not great.
Yeah.
Hate that for you.
Yeah, hate that for
At
you.
least we're not France, which is a good 5 degrees Celsius hotter. So, it sucks to be French, I guess.
I get a nonpartisan, like whatever sort of like newsletter every day in my email. And today they had this really cool link that takes you to this really cool science-y website that shows, like, you can just click a spot on the world map and you can zoom in and look how much hotter it is than it's ever been. And I was looking at Seattle, obviously, because that's where I am, and we are 1.7 degrees hotter than we've ever been. And then there's various parts of the U.S. that are 1 and 2 degrees hotter. Fucking UK is like 7 degrees hotter than it's ever been. I can't believe it. It's really scary.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Mike.
Yeah, temperature records for this month just tumbling. It's
Yeah.
it's not great.
Woof.
Yeah, for a country that doesn't think that air conditioning is mandatory, that's not going to be good.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, we are finding out. We are very much finding out. Yeah.
It's one of those. I'm happy to be underground these days, in my office basement where it is cool. Okay, so 3 of us mentioned it. 4 of us mentioned it in various degrees. Last weekend was TAFCON. That will
if
probably
the listeners will allow me, I'll just mute myself while I whimper quietly.
No, Mike.
He's making a really sad face.
Like the saddest eyes.
This is the perfect opportunity to say happy birthday tomorrow to Mike. Who knows when this podcast is going to come out? But tomorrow, today, that is
for
the
us
podcast
tomorrow.
happening. For us, it's tomorrow. Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
But yeah,
please continue. Destroying me.
So TAFCON was the audio fiction convention held in beautiful Boulder, Colorado, which is about 20 minutes away from where I am currently. So I had no excuse not to go.
Legally, you had to be there.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would have been rude. It would have been in front if I had not shown up. That's like an official snub at that point. But Sam and Jack and many other people who, if you listen to this podcast, you probably know their voices were there as well. It was a 1-day event. And with a lot of talks, it was held in a relatively small convention center. It was really kind of small and intimate as cons go. It was probably maybe the smallest con I've ever been to.
We were
very cool.
suspecting that the venue was like a wedding reception venue or something. It was decorated in such a way that it made me think, this is for wedding receptions.
It was labeled as a gallery. It was what it was called, like the Rembrandt Gallery and Convention Space, I think is what they called it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think
it was very beautiful.
It was great. It was perfectly adequate for the convention. So there were I attended several talks. Jack, I know that you spent most of the time at your table. We got to go to maybe one or maybe only just the one.
I think I just went to the one that we went to together, which was a crowdfunding one, which was really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Sam, I concentrated myself on the marketing and monetization and stuff like that, because that was where I felt the weakest in terms of what I wanted to get out of it. There was also a very good talk by Gabriel Urbina about what was it, audio or fiction you can play with, I think was the title of it. It was a really good. It was a pretty good talk. Sam, did you hit anything particularly interesting or?
I did, and I did basically all the same stuff you just said. I took notes, thank God, because quick side note, I got to Colorado at midnight on Friday night, Saturday morning, and I just stayed in the hotel, or not the hotel. I just stayed in the airport, because I've done that before. I've just slept in airports before,
Sure.
and
We've all been there.
it wasn't great because I had a migraine, so I like took my migraine meds and then just passed out on a bench, and then I met up with Mel when she got there, and then so. By the time I got to TAFCON the next day, because we played mini golf, we did a bunch of stuff on Saturday
And we like
together
went
as
out
a
the
group.
previous night.
Yeah, it was very fun. By the time I got to TAFCON, my brain was like basically mashed potatoes, and so. But I did attend the talk by Gabrielle.
The way they pronounced it was Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Gabrielle. But forgive us if we were not saying it correctly.
Yeah, so sorry.
Yeah.
Cool dude. Very interesting to listen to. Great speaker. I can't like talk point by point because I don't remember.
Sure.
But it was like what was nice about his talk was it was like you look back on it and you're like, yeah, this is all really obvious stuff. But then as you like sort of think about it, you're like, yeah, it's obvious, but like I don't really take this to heart very often. I should probably re-examine how I do stuff. That was really cool. I really enjoyed the monetization talk because it wasn't even really a panel. It was like everybody sat down on couches and like had a discussion.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
Although that room was too small for the group of people.
And it was too freaking hot. I don't understand why they
hot,
shut the door. But anyway, the two people that were running the talk were so passionate about what they did, and it was so cool to just listen to people talk about things that they genuinely were so excited about and loved so much. And I got so many good ideas, and now I understand what the difference is between like putting ads in your podcast and doing ad reads. And I looked up like how to do a bunch of that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. And I asked a couple questions later afterward about like Patreon stuff and things like that. So I've been trying to, figure out how I want to do some of my stuff. My favorite part of TAFCON, though, and Scott, you will probably agree with me, was the absolutely incredible meeting that the sound designers had. That was
oh my god, you guys were in there forever.
Oh my god, it was so fun. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty because nobody actually cares unless they're a sound designer. But man, it was so wonderful to stand around with a bunch of other fucking nerds and talk sound design. And I met so many cool people. And I have everybody's. That reminds me. I have everybody's contact info. I need to get that back out to everybody. But so cool, so cool.
Yeah, the sound design. I think it was labeled as the sound designer's kvetch, which was correct. That was the correct way to title it.
Yes,
it was a loose thing. I think they'd grabbed a couple of people specifically to go in there and kind of like quote unquote run it, not like not officially, but to sort of
moderate.
Yeah, sort of like be there to consciously ask good questions, which was really good, and sort of get people engaged, which was really, really, really. It was much less formal than something like a panel or even like the discussion we had about monetization. It really was very informal, but still guided just enough that like we didn't end up talking about movies or anything. Like it was like and watching a bunch of people who are, you could tell for the most part are working solitary by themselves, solitary, suddenly get into a room with a bunch of people who do that same job was very interesting. It was very good to see everybody sort of be like, oh yeah, what about this? What about this? Oh yeah, I totally hate that. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it was very,
I totally hate that.
That was cool. That was not a thing I thought about. I had not been to something like that with sort of a guided, not a guided discussion, but a topic-based free-form discussion like that at a convention before. And I enjoyed it far more than I was expecting to.
Well, I think most conventions are too big to run stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to literally, you'd have to be like, okay, 15 people can come into this small room and no more. But
yes, exactly.
like this convention was, I don't know, maybe 200 people total if we're being very generous. So I feel like that was the right size of group for that type of discussion. But a lot of times when you go to like Comic-Con or something, there's just no way to limit it that way.
Yeah, and I looped through the writers' discussion later, which was like the next slot over, and there were less people overall, and it was much more like kind of not as well. It was less cohesive, maybe is the way to put it.
Sure,
which makes sense.
That's writers for you.
That's writers for you. Yeah, it's also just a looser like thing. Overall, you know, the sound design is a very particular kind of thing. Writing could be anything. Anything could be writing. yeah, that was a very good. Yeah, that sound designer kvetch was very informative and fun. I hopefully once Sam sends out the connection information so we can all email each other, I can be, because I have a list of like plugins and stuff that people were like, oh yeah, you should try this, that I need to like get from them.
That's awesome.
Somebody has like a comprehensive how to use Reaper, and it's like it's like a setup that you plug in that's already tailored to like doing podcast sound design. And I was
so
like,
nice.
Hello, let me get your name and
Yes.
contact
Can I have
info.
that, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Reaper's one of those things. Actually there was a really good idea somebody mentioned. I forget who it was, talking about switching to a program like that, where it was like you have to just do that as its own. Like you have to make learning a new DAW its own project. You can't use that new DAW to run a project. And I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because I switched to Reaper. Tried to switch to Reaper previously. I was like, oh, perfect. I will just force myself to edit behind the locked doors in it. And I got like 2 episodes in, and it took me so much longer each time that I couldn't handle it anymore. And I was like, I just got to go back. I just got to go back to Audition, and treating it like its own project is a really smart way to do it. I
did the most stupid thing ever, and I did what you did, but with audiobooks. And I was like, I'm gonna learn Reaper by editing this audiobook. So I went from Audition, which is the best program to do audiobook editing in, to one of the most complicated, and that was just the dumbest thing I've ever done, because it made me absolutely hate Reaper. And I had like 2 years of like never touching this DAW ever again. This is terrible. But I know that it's so good for doing like multi-tracks and like, you know, audio drama stuff. So I think I need to learn it.
It has some really good features. Actually, I was very pleased to hear other people who used Reaper all the time say that it's inline destructive editor, when you're going into a single clip and changing that is garbage. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Because that was also one of my big pain points. I'm like,
that was my beef. Right.
Yeah, somebody was like, yeah, I still use Audition for that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm not doing both, but that's good.
It like validated a lot of feelings. This kvetch did. It was very fun.
It was cute because I wasn't in it, but I did walk by the room where it was being held a few times as I was like meeting people at the tables and whatever. And I could see you guys all standing in a big circle in this room through these glass doors, just like laughing your heads off about something. I was like, okay, I'm glad they're all having a good time. This is a healing experience for them.
Just wonderful. Just wonderful. But yeah, I don't want to take up all the time. Stuff.
No. I went to the marketing discussion, which was interesting. There's certain ways in which it was very helpful for me. Let me see if I can. I'm not going to remember to do. I can't. My notes are going to be too scattered for them to even be useful here. But it was interesting because one of the answers was basically, my broadest takeaway was that marketing in the audio drama space is so what's a nice way to put it? Not futile, but difficult, maybe is the way to put it.
Challenging.
Challenging. The biggest takeaway, I think probably the most useful, like one-line takeaway from the whole thing was the idea that you should not be you should not be marketing to audio drama listeners. Audio drama listeners are people who already listen to audio dramas, are a small group of people. And they are difficult to, the way it was put was, all of the people who already listen to audio dramas, especially if they listen to a lot of them, have a queue that's 2 years long. Like if you convince them today to listen to your show, you will get a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever in a year and a half. You'll get it in 3 years, and if ever, right? Because everybody's got a backlog. So if you want to get people listening, you need to look outside of the current audience of audio drama listeners. You need to find something that's adjacent to what you're doing. So this has resulted in me. I've been thinking about it a lot in the last week. I'm like, okay, well, what's the adjacent population for It Takes a Wolf?
Horny werewolf.
Right. I'm like, is it just furries, or is it like, but the real answer is people who like noir, people who like supernatural fiction. It's honestly like the shortest way to put it is probably people who like the Dresden Files.
Probably.
Because if you like the Dresden Files, there's a lot of the same vibes here. The actual subject matter is quite different, especially in its politics is maybe the wrong word. I don't know. I I don't know what to say about Jim Bersher except that he needs to stop using the phrase "the tips of her breasts."
Oh, not the tips of her breasts.
I don't think that dude fucking says
Fuck.
nipples in any of the books, and he says tips of her breasts a fucking
God
lot.
damn it.
And it's just like, no, take
Don't
that phrase
do
away
that.
from Jim Bersher. Anyway,
Yep.
so
Don't do that. You guys,
But-
this is an audio medium, so nobody got to see how Mike's face just squunched in on itself while Scott was saying that. It was really good.
yeah, So the thought process of how do I myself find those audiences that would be interested in my show but don't know what an audio drama is or don't know what a podcast is or think they're not podcast listeners and get a hold of them is going to be an interesting question. I'll have to find
Mhm.
I mean just dropping a link on the Dresden Files Discord's probably or Reddit or whatever is probably not going to be good enough, but I'll have to figure out where those people are so that I can get my show in front of them,
Mhm.
which will be very interesting. But
I bet
the-
at least a decent number of them are on Tumblr.
oh yeah, Tumblr. I think I need to be more active because I think that's going to be where I will find
The
reach
horny
to
werewolf
new people.
fuckers are on Tumblr. I'm
The-
I
pretty
gotta
most-
get back into Tumblr
Yeah.
when they got rid of all the
The porn.
the corn.
Yeah, they got rid of the porn.
Hey,
when
look,
they got
there's
rid
no
of the
search
porn.
algorithm. We can say all of the words. We do not need to like
That's true.
Porn,
euphemism
porn,
ourselves.
porn, cock,
Yeah.
pussy.
Yeah. Once they got rid of all like the really super porny slash stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
well, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
But the population that is there is weird enough and are revel in their weirdness enough that I think that's going to be a very good, a lucrative market, provided that
The
I can
people
get.
who are on Tumblr are still horny. They're just mad that the porn is
Yes.
gone
In
and
fact,
like latching
there's a-
on to any.
There's a
horny
really
thing
good
that
argument
there
to say that when you get rid of the porn, the people get hornier because they don't have a
Yeah.
release anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That was an unfortunate phrasing.
But you're right, and you should say it.
So I think Tumblr will be a good one. I'm gonna have to think of ways to get that. Like Tumblr is a really good avenue for image based marketing as well, stuff like that. So but the central thesis of I don't need to be worrying about marketing to audio drama fans is a really good way to put it, because like those people, if they want to watch the show or listen to the show, they'll find it.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I don't want to diminish the value of doing things like putting things on, doing a promo exchange with other
Yeah,
podcasts, and stuff
trailer
like
swaps
that.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, trailer swaps and things like that. I don't want to diminish the effectiveness of those, but that's probably not your best bang for your buck, as it were.
Yeah.
Maybe is the way to put it.
Mhm.
That was really illuminating.
I have been doing a lot of, you could say research, but that sounds so adult, and it's not. I don't feel like that's what I've been doing, but I've been asking a lot of questions and just sort of, I guess, interviewing people when I go to cons, because I go to a lot of them, and it's just incredible how I'm speaking absolutely of the average person.
Yeah.
Just like somebody you would maybe run across on the street.
Yeah.
The average person definitely knows that podcasts exist. Like if you said something about like Serial, they would know what
Yeah.
you were talking about. Like, because
Or Joe Rogan, or
exactly
yeah.
the podcast sphere is like talking head political, or it's true crime.
comedians. Yeah.
Yeah, and or true or comedians doing true crime.
Yeah.
So
That
but
actually
that's
sounds
like
rad.
it's very fun. Those are the
Oh, wait.
podcasts that I listen to.
That's all. That's like 90% of the way to Behind the Bastards, right there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
It's just
so
war
most people
crimes,
know
man.
what a podcast is, at least.
Yes.
But when I start to talk about audio drama, they just blank. They're like, wait, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Because
Wait, what?
most people think that podcasting is just people talking to each other. And so the spaces that like cons, the con spaces are like ripe for like getting people to like see what audio drama is.
Mhm.
And that's great and everything, but I think another place that we're sort of missing and we're not really thinking about is like book talk and
sure.
Yeah.
places
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people read books.
Mhm.
Because a horny werewolf drama that's like it's supernatural, horny werewolves and noir, it's like thriller, it's detective stuff all in one. That is like one of the biggest genres of book there is. you know,
Right.
or a couple of genres there are.
Yeah.
And if you were to like walk into the like horny werewolf section of like people who read books and be like, hey, if you wanted to like listen like an audio book to, but it's more like an audio play of like a horny werewolf story, people would just, they would like start like drooling all over the place. Like just like feral. And because people who read that kind of stuff are usually very voracious readers, and so
there's not enough of it to keep them satisfied.
There really is not. And people, I mean, nowadays, most people who read a lot also, at least at some point, will listen to an audiobook because they have to drive somewhere, or they have to work, or clean their house, do laundry, and so you just got to find the audiobook listeners that listen to the genre that your podcast is in, and see if we can figure out how to market to those specific people, because that group of people, like if you were to look at the size of podcast listeners, I'm holding up a little circle with my hands right now.
It's like an apple-sized circle or something.
Compare it to the people that listen to audiobooks in the same genre. It's like the size of my booth. So I would love to get with you guys at some point, while we're not recording and trying to make an episode, to how we could market to people in that sphere of the world. Because I mean, I just think it's again, like I said, ripe for listeners.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. Those are the voracious people. And if you told them, hey, there's a free audiobook that
you
hits
don't
your
have to
genre,
pay for it.
You can just
go
listen to right now. That's a really good way to market that. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't want to use TikTok though. Fuck, Christ. Anyway, sorry. What was that, Mike?
No, I was just saying that I have actually talked to Ella Watts about this. Like she's mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that with like the people are missing a trick really to not kind of like targeting like audiobook listeners in the genres that they're making things, and trying to position it as something like adjacent or auxiliary to that sort of experience. It's also quite interesting because it's slightly off topic, but I did listen to the same talk you mentioning, the marketing. I did have a digital ticket for TAFCON. It was kind of like standing outside peering through the window. It's like that gif of Conan kind of like just pressed up against the glass. It was like that as an experience. So I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone, but it was still useful. But yeah, like I heard that particular talk, and I very much the same sorts of thoughts as you, Scott. It reminded me of something that Daniel Orrit said. So I don't know if you're familiar with Daniel. He created an audio drama, full cast, which is marketed and basically sold as an audiobook, essentially, through various platforms. A sci-fi one a couple of years back. And he got his audience through basically starting a YouTube channel, which is all about sci-fi lore, building an audience there, and then beginning to write this audio drama.
Is this the guy who wrote Sojourn?
Sojourn, yes, exactly.
Yes, okay. No, I know. It's the channel is Space Dock. Yeah, no, I know.
Yes, that's on. Yeah.
No, I know. I didn't know by name.
Yeah. So I'm not the hugest fan of it, but he did say something that was quite interesting, which was that he believes that the audience that he's got for the Sojourn, which is, not a huge audience, but it's enough to support them financially and kind of give them enough money to continue production. Like he reckons that of his listeners, the majority of them are people who never listened to an audio drama before and were brought into the sphere from other areas of either his YouTube channel or, like the wider kind of like sci-fi community and outreach through that, rather than people who are audio drama fans to begin with, who were then convinced to listen to his one. And that kind of tracks with a lot of kind of the interactions that I've had, because a lot of the people in the audio drama space that I think that we inhabit have nothing to do with that production, or like don't really know about that. Like a couple of us have had like small parts in it, but generally speaking, there's not much crossover between those two worlds. Like that audience and that group of creators sits very much on their own, yet is quite sizable. I think that's quite interesting, because it does seem to be driven by the fact that when they started it, they very much had this focus on making sure that they were marketing to people who had similar interests, but in media in different areas, essentially.
That's really
so
formats.
And thinking of the work as a genre piece first, medium piece, what kind of medium it is second, is probably a really good way to put it. This is, in my case, I'm looking at noir, supernatural, that stuff that is the important bit, not the audio drama part. The good to, yeah, cool. Yeah.
because I mean, like the project I'm working on at the moment, like part of the reason why I kind of thought, well, maybe this might be something that people would want to listen to is the fact that it is, at its heart, a Regency romance and also a queer romance as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like those two combined have an audience in and of itself. But like, even if I could separate those out and even have like an even bigger group of people to market to.
Yes.
So
that's cool.
that's yeah.
What else do we want to cover? Oh yeah, I also went and Jackie went with me to the crowdfunding talk, which was I don't know. I don't know what I was looking for. Maybe I was looking for something more concrete. There was a lot of information in that set of slides, and I feel like I don't know what my broadest takeaways were for it.
How do you feel, Jack? Well, it seemed to me like the talk was aimed at people who were trying to figure out whether they should be crowdfunding a project or not, and if so, whether they should be doing it as like a personal thing or a business.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the main, and then kind of giving you some rundowns of like different platforms you can crowdfund through. Oh, that reminds me, Mike, there was a UK specific crowdfunding platform that they talked about that sounded really cool, but that those of us who don't live in the UK cannot access to run projects.
Now that sucks to be you, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and it had some linkage with like one of your arts programs as well. So there was some sort of funding, that, like a matching program or something like that might be available.
It was cool.
Yeah.
We were like, oh my God, we got to tell Mike about this.
And we both looked at each other like, we got to talk to Mike about this. And of course, neither of us can remember what the name of it was. I think it might have been it might have been one of the crowdfunders. There's like two things called crowdfunder, and it might be one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe check that out because that could be cool for you if ever you're wanting to do a paid project or whatever. But it was mostly like trying to figure out like what you should be crowdfunding for.
Yes.
Like what types of things are things that people are willing to put money toward when you're asking a crowd of people for money, and what types of things you should not be asking a crowd of people for money for.
Yeah. Maybe and this is maybe my fault because I was looking for crowdfunding 201, and I think we got for crowdfunding 101.
Yeah, this was like entry-level basic, should you be doing a crowdfunder project?
And like, what is a crowdfunder? And like, here are the various platforms that are available. It was interesting. They did have access to a lot of it was done by the people who maintain the giant Google spreadsheet of every audio drama crowdfund that has happened in the last like 7 years or something like that.
So they had cool data.
They had 600 instances, which is great data, but knowing that like X number of X percentage may meet their goal and this is how much money they get is useful information, but it was kind of scattered throughout our larger talk, which was again maybe just not what I was expecting. So I feel like I still have unanswered questions about running a.
Yeah, I feel like you have more granular questions. Like you did need that like second level of information.
Yeah,
that we kind of didn't cover because it was only like an hour long.
Yeah,
and they were like, we actually have too much stuff to fit into this hour long talk, so we're gonna be blasting through this like 101 information.
Yeah, so like things like you need to include a video with your face in it. As part of your crowdfunding is stuff that I'm like, well, yeah, of course you do. To me,
of course.
not to say that is self-evident, but to me, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of already knew that. And so the questions I have are like, okay, well, we've got stretch goals and stuff like that. What kind of stretch goals are actually good? They barely touched on that, but like, obviously, physical items require shipping, and that basically gives yourself an additional manufacturing and fulfillment costs. Digital.
Yeah, they also covered
like
okay, if you're gonna do stretch goal rewards that are physical objects, you have to consider the time and cost of producing those physical objects and then shipping them out to people.
Yeah,
all of which adds more cost to it. So if you're doing that for like a $5 reward tier, maybe that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's also a difference between stretch goals and rewards. I think we just conflated those where it's like,
those are different.
Yeah, there's like the tier rewards where it's like, okay, you give me $25 and I give you a mention in the credits. You give me $50, I give you a mention in the credits, and I send you a postcard and maybe a t-shirt or something like. But like those tier rewards can get a lot of additional money out of people because they feel better about giving you more money if they're going to get something back from it, something special.
Yeah, they get treats.
And then on top of that are stretch goals where you get if the crowdfunding gets this additional amount of money, we are going to do something additional for the thing.
Yeah, like if it goes over 100% of the original goal.
Although a really good piece of information is that like you don't need to this is maybe a takeaway that I didn't internalize until just now. You don't actually need to worry about stretch goals because hardly anybody gets to them is kind of the answer. That like that it is so that the number of people, the percentage of projects that got 200% of their funding is like 5% or less.
Yeah, it's
like
very small. I feel like that's kind of something you maybe worry about if you're 3 days in and you've fully funded already. And then you're going, oh, okay, so I have 27 more days of this Kickstarter being open. Maybe now we think about stretch goals. But in the lead up to preparing a Kickstarter campaign, you maybe don't even need to worry about that.
Yeah, or at least it shouldn't be at the top of your list of things that you should be stressing about.
Yeah.
Reward tiers is probably much more important.
Plenty other stuff to stress about. Stretch goals, not at the top of your list.
Yeah.
I've been a part of so many Kickstarters at this point, and most of them are audiobooks because a lot of small publishing houses, don't have the money to buy to pay a narrator for their audiobook. And they have the like the extra boon of this is a author that most people already know, and they're like, their next book is coming out and we want to get it in audio format, and so it's like it's really easy for them to do that. So usually the books the narrations that I do are funded very quickly. But I remember Shelterwood, we didn't even make half our like projected what we needed to start that project, and that was like a really like people were really excited for that too. It was very weird that it didn't even make half. Did they in that talk about like what to do or how to plan like if or when your Kickstarter does not fund?
Only in as far as to prepare your expectations for the fact that you may do everything right and still fail.
They talked a little bit about like knowing as you go into the beginning of a Kickstarter, whether you're planning on making that show still if you don't make this money. Like, Tal, who was one of the moderators, was like, I was going to make side questing season 4 no matter what. I'm going to Kickstarter it, but if I don't make that money, it's still getting made. It's just going to take longer. Whereas some projects just aren't going to happen if you don't make the money.
Yeah. Well, and the irony there is, because they did mention this, which is it is actually helpful for you to succeed to go for the only get the money on the fully funded version. I forget what the way they called that, but the Kickstarter model where you don't get any, you don't get the all or nothing model is actually more successful than the partial funding model, where if you fail, you'll still get some of the money. Or you don't get to the goal, you'll still, not to say you fail, but if you don't reach the goal, you'll still get some of the money. That actually doesn't give people as much incentive to give money, apparently. And also the most famous one that did that was Indiegogo, and they've actually completely switched to the Kickstarter model now too. So even doing the partial funding system is harder. And that means, it was funny because the advice was, if you're going to make it anyway, you should just go ahead and do the partial funding one, because any money that you get is good and you'll put it towards the project. But also, those are the smaller platforms that don't have as big of a footprint. So like people don't necessarily already have a login and their credit card information already in a small site the way they do with Kickstarter. So you really probably just want to be on whatever the biggest platform is.
You probably just want to do Kickstarter. Really, their bottom line was like, just use Kickstarter. Like that's the one that kind of works for what we're doing.
Which sucks. I hate monopolies. I would love to support smaller industries and stuff like this, but like we can't federate crowdfunding. So
I think the government should just be paying us to make art is the bottom line. Like, why are we like asking people out of
if
pocket?
Only they're doing a I think it's Ireland is doing a like universal basic income for artists program.
Yes,
like a pilot program.
They trialed it. Yeah,
incredible.
And they're going to keep it in place. And like
that's fucking rad as shit.
Love that. Love that.
Leaders of the human race.
It's effective as well. Like in terms of like creative output, like Ireland's really good.
Wow. Who would think?
Yeah, who would think? I know I've got a buddy with an Irish passport, and I'm like, I know I'm like a year older than you. Could you adopt me? Could I be your son?
Your son. Move to Ireland and make art with government money.
It's going to be really interesting and exciting to see what comes out of TAFCON moving forward because having been to hundreds of cons at this point, it was really easy to see this could probably use some work and this could probably use some work, but they did so good. They did
for a
so
first-time con,
good for their first time. Incredible.
Yeah.
I have to. I'm going to be a little petty jerk for a second, but I have to say it was really funny when you guys were talking about Kickstarter 101, and Scott, you probably needed 201.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have gone to the basics of, or like voice acting one because it was just really frustrating because they had I think it was Emma. She's part of Wolf 359. Yes, she was fantastic and she had wonderful things to say. She was very intuitive and she obviously had a lot of insight into the whole process and like the job of being a voice actor. But a lot of the questions were answered with like, so you need to just remember that you have a scene partner and you need to like talk to them like it's a conversation. And I turned to Mel and I was like, no fucking way. Like, I was really annoyed. And I understand that that is the basics of voice acting. And I love that there were people there in that audience that probably got something out of that. Wonderful. I'm not saying it was a bad panel. I just shouldn't have been there.
You shouldn't have been at it.
I shouldn't have been at it.
Well, we had a discussion about this where it's like the expectations of what you are going, like making sure a panel is clear about who the people who should be there, right? Like who it's for. I just heard my voice assistant.
Put a 101 on there.
One thing I wanted to say, which was just a funny thing, which is I continue to be absolutely jump scared by people's heights when I meet them in person.
So funny.
The only person I can say that was ever about the right height was Mike. Sorry, dude.
Oh.
You were, or I don't know, it's good. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's a Mike person. That's about
You're a Mike
size
size human.
Yeah, it's a reasonable person. Everybody else has been like, oh, you are much taller than I thought you were going to be, or
so funny,
or very much like, oh, you were a shorty. You have a tall voice and a short stature.
Tall voice and a short body.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Sam is shorter than I am because I find, generally speaking, that I am on the short side.
I was wondering, we might also be the same height because I had Converse on and you had big chunky boots.
I did have big chunky boots.
I'm wondering if we're maybe the same height, but it was very funny.
I'm 5'6". How tall are you actually?
Nope, never mind. I'm shorter than you, but I am very much a wow. You are way shorter than I thought you would be person all the time from everybody, everyone that I've ever met. So
you have a tall demeanor,
tall voice.
I was so surprised how tall Ari was. I was
she's tall as hell.
Tall as Ari,
she's so beautiful and she's so tall, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. It was great. It was great meeting everybody in person.
My wife is 6'3". Everybody,
she's gorgeous and wonderful and sweet. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was really, really fun. And we played.
She's also
mini
really
golf.
good at mini golf. She fucking wiped our asses.
Just annihilated everybody.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful time being super terrible, or maybe just unlucky because I had the black ball. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah. Sam had the black mini golf ball, and it kept just like vaporizing into the ether. Like
it was weird.
We'd hit it, and it would like fly off the course and just into the bushes somewhere.
It would dance around the top of the hole, and then be like, nope, and then just jump right back out. It was great.
Yeah, it was doing all kinds of crazy.
It was a really fun time. It was. If you ever get a chance to meet people that you only know online in person, you should do it.
Mini golf is the activity.
Mini golf,
that's a good one.
100%.
Okay, I wanted to. Okay, one quick thing, and then we'll wrap up. For those of you who, this is probably not a good answer for either Mike or a question for Mike or Sam, because you all are both either weren't there or con-goers. But I'm thinking the next time I do one of these, what am I going to do differently is my thought process. Because I think, good.
I was just going to ask if you plan on having a show releasing by the next one of these.
Man, I really hope so. If it's,
you know what I mean?
If it's a year,
I think if you do, then you could like table as a creator and be like, hey, here's my show. Because like a lot of I was the only fan artist there, by the way, everybody. Like there weren't any other ones. It was literally only me. So like most of the tables there were people who make podcasts and were promoting the podcast that they make or their podcast network or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, you could table as a creator if you have It Takes a Wolf releasing or about
honestly,
to release next time?
No, on that thought, I had a different thing entirely, which was not as good.
Oh, okay.
No, I was gonna say I need to bring more business cards.
Oh, you should. Yeah, you should also bring business cards.
What I should have done was tabled as this show, Behind the Locked Doors.
Interesting.
Because we were just talking about how I'm not going to say there's no reason to market to other audio podcast people, but like that's not the market. Like I don't need to capture those people. If they want to watch, they'll watch. But getting people for this show because I could literally pull anybody aside. I'm like half the people at that con, I could have pulled into a room and done an episode of this really quickly with.
Yep.
We talked about doing a quick episode with those of us who were present, and then we were so busy and doing different things that we didn't do it. Sorry,
I knew. I was like, no. I coming up to the weekend, I'm like, there's no way we're going to be able to do it. But if I could have had a way to, like, okay, like real quick, let's do a 15-minute show. Tell me about your show. Tell me about your process. Tell me.
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool.
I could have run a bunch of little guest episodes. That would have been really cool. Yeah, I should have done that. Oh, well.
I should have just recorded myself literally doing that because, like, when I did step away from my booth, I just walked around to every other table and, like, asked the person sitting there, like, hey, what's your show about? Like, what's the premise? What do you think is fun about it? Like, tell me about it and pitch it to me. Yeah. And I walked around with Amy and Mel, who were like, just kind of follow me around. I was like, you don't have to like wait around with me while I talk to every single person on this floor of this building. And they were like, no, we want to get this information, but we're introverts and we don't want to ask the question. So it's really useful for us to just like stand a foot behind you while you talk to everyone.
Yeah.
But I did do that. I was just like, pitch me on your show because my like list of podcasts I listen to is kind of short. Like I only have a few that I keep up with and I want to try new ones, but I'm always like, seeing the title of a show floating around and not really knowing what it's about or if it's going to be for me or whatever. So like having the person who makes the show or writes the show pitch it to you and be like, here is what I'm really passionate about and here's what I like making really like gives me a better idea of the list in my brain of things I think I would enjoy. You know what I mean?
I think it's also really important.
Cool. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I think it's also really important to point out that marketing to other podcasts, blah blah blah, like we've said before, but this show marketing to other podcasts makes sense because we are a show that talks about like how to or how you do or something like that, and this is something that people who create podcasts or are thinking about creating podcasts would probably want to know about, or at least like would.
This is like a talking shop show.
Exactly. I think we definitely should market and probably only market to other podcast creators.
Yeah, right. If you like cereal, you should try Behind the Locked Doors.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Running through line of like which of us has chronic illnesses that are preventing us from creating things once again. That's the cereal.
Okay, did anybody else have a thing that are like, oh, I should do this differently next time?
No, try and be in the same geographic space as the event happening.
Be in the country for it.
I really hope we have a UK contingent next year.
I'm so fucking bummed that the time you were in the United States, I was disastrously ill and could not be there.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm so mad.
You are not the only person to have those feelings, Jack. Yeah,
I'm sure that's true.
Well, see, the obvious answer to this is we all just go to the UK. I mean, let's just hop on a flight and go. Obviously,
let's figure it out.
Just take over Mike's little orchard with the Americans.
Look, everything's going to be kind of an ash-strewn, kind of like burnt-out husk. Like we're
oh God, I know. One way or this weather.
There's not really that much, enticement.
So the real answer is we all need to meet in Svalbard or something where it'll be.
One thing I was going to say was because I have heard this mentioned is the organizers of this convention, TAFCON, have said they are going to do one next year and have tentatively mentioned that it may be in a different location.
Yes.
And the location they mentioned is the East Coast. I wanted to know, would that have any impact on whether you would want to attend or not?
I'm still going.
It very much depends on where on the East Coast because let me tell you something. For this convention, we parked a block away and I, hauled up like one heavy box of prints and like a couple of stands that are, 2.5 feet wide, up, down one city block and up a flight of stairs. Not a huge deal, not too bad. I'm not getting on the New York City subway carrying a 2.5 foot display frame. Like, I'm not doing it. The people on the subway already fucking hate that you're there. I'm simply not tabling if it's in New York City.
Well, and there's lots of places that are not New York that could be East Coast.
Well, so hold on. So the flower that was this year, the flower that was the TAFCON
Mhm.
flower.
Mhm.
That was like the Colorado or the Boulder or something
okay.
flower.
Yeah.
The flower for next year is for DC. So
Oh, okay.
Are they doing a DC?
Oh,
DC
okay.
would be fine. I would do DC.
do not quote me, but
Yeah,
that's what Amy said. Amy said that's like the flower of like
Oh,
DC.
okay.
Amy's really smart,
Okay.
and I believe her. So
Yeah, me too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think unless there's some sort of life change between now and then, I feel like I'm quite likely to go.
Yeah, I want to go again. It was like so fun. Like, regardless of any of the logistics, it was just so fun to be in person with my friend. I like got back to Kansas and I was like, where are my fucking homies? Like, where are the people I like hanging out with? What the hell?
Yeah,
So I want to go again
if
just to
it's-
see everybody. But
If
also
it's
because
DC,
cool
I
there.
want to go because a lot of people that I work with in podcasting live in DC. A lot of Shelterwood people live there. Mel would like to table for 236. Mel also used to live
that'd be
there,
great.
so
Mel
there's a
and
lot
Hera
of
are
reason.
both in the area. Yeah,
Exactly.
Some friends live
a
there.
lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reason for me to go next year, so I plan on going.
Yeah.
If it's DC, I'll be so happy. Please,
Yeah.
not New York City.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure for running a convention, cost between DC and
Oh my god.
New York would be quite different. So
Oh, yeah.
I would
Vastly different.
seems
I'm
like
sure.
New York would be a very, I don't know. New York just seems like a bad place to run conventions because it's already full and there's so many people there. You want
It's
some
already
place,
full.
yeah.
And like everyone who lives there is fucking mad that the
Yeah.
tourists are there. Like they don't want you to be there. You're in their way. They got places to be. Like it's just it's not
Yeah.
that pleasant.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have opinions about New York City because I went there for classes while I was in grad school and I hated it. Anyways,
okay. Let's do some. I feel like we covered this pretty well. We've done a pretty good debrief. Let's set some goals for 2 weeks from now, which will be early June. Sometime in
no,
there.
early July.
July, yes.
is June.
It's currently June. Yes.
We're in June. Oh my god.
June right now.
Yeah, I know.
Happy Pride.
The year's like half over. Anyway. Okay, so I have to get the re-recording done between now and then. I now have,
I
as
believe
you
in
all
you.
can see, I have a recording space set up. There's even like
A beautiful booth.
there's
Bisexually
stuff
lit.
yeah, so that is, I have to get that done. I'm going to continue to edit episode 2, but I have to get the recording done. And yeah, I'll do it this week, in fact. So that's my
Nice.
goal. Sam, I believe you're next usually.
I have two goals. I have I'm finishing up a Own Voices narration. And I will also I think that I am going to make goals for As in West. I'm going to refamiliarize myself because I've just been away from it for so long.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start simple and not make it hard on myself. And I'm going to just set my goal as re-listening to a bunch of episodes and I'm going to have the Bible that you did, Jack, and I'm going to just get back into the world, get my headspace back to where it needs to be to start writing again.
What I don't have in the Bible at all is stuff from the West episodes of Unspeakable Distance. So as you're doing that, if you feel like there are really important details you want to fill in to that series Bible from the West stuff, please feel free to do that.
Then that's what I'll do. Then I'll listen to both yours and mine, and I'll put in the Bible stuff from my side, and get ready to start writing again.
Okay,
Cool, yeah.
gorgeous.
Jack, how about yourself? Still recuperating, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I have to like catch back up on my life in Kansas, probably before I set more concrete goals because
Fair
I have
enough.
to do like my laundry and stuff like that. But yes, like Sam, if you end up with stuff you want to talk about or questions or whatever, hit me up and we can find a time to like hop on the phone and talk about stuff if you want.
Excellent.
In the next 2 weeks.
Mike, how about you?
I think, just get another episode under the belt if I can.
Cool.
Just continue the progress. I think by that point, I will have 100% definitely got over the halfway point. I'm already technically there, I think, by word count, but
Yeah.
like some of the episodes have turned out to be a bit longer than I intended. So don't know exactly how it's going to work. So, but if I write the next one, I've definitely written more than half of the thing.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Start approaching people to be in it.
Cool.
Ooh,
yes.
so exciting.
Very
Yay.
exciting.
I wish I was British. Oh well.
Yeah. I've thought about that as well. So, it's just, it
I feel
feels
like a really shitty
feels like a
British
missed
accent.
opportunity, honestly.
Okay. Great. Then in that case, we will catch the audience back in 2 weeks. Bye.
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 All right. Yep.